welcome back to the Pen and Inkwell. I am super excited to share this with you today. I haven't done this before, and I have questions every now and then about different inks and what my experience are with inks and what inks have I got. And recently I've spent a lot of time cataloguing my inks and doing swabs of inks and tidying them. And very recently, it was as recent as last weekend, I started having a look through them and tidying up my inks, and took over another drawer in our living room chest and had to move them in because I'd overspilled the one. Husband wasn't very pleased that I was sort of starting to shift out some of the other stuff. But it was just that stuff that, you just chuck in a drawer because one day you might use it. Well, I sort of figured we haven't used it for a long time, so it's about time it went. And it went to better use, in my opinion anyway. So I've now got 2 full drawers in my living room that are full of my ink bottles, and then I have a small little cabinet in my pen cabinet that I keep my cartridges in, plus things like my syringes and stuff like that. And then I've got a Tupperware box that houses all of my ink samples. So I know where they all are. And then by using this notebook as well, my William Hanna notebook, I've been able to catalogue them all. A few weeks ago I had a look in and I looked it all up and I jotted down every colour ink that I owned. And it turns out I have 95 different ink bottles. That includes the sample bottles. I also have a list in here of all of those sample bottles that I want to turn into full bottles, and these things take time. Even though you go, oh, it's just £5 for one, or it's an £8 for another one, or it's £13 for another one. If I did them all, it'd be a couple of £100, and very difficult to explain when you've got all of this. And when you sing it out like this, I might have a problem. So that's 95 different bottles. I then had a look and realised I have 45 different cartridges. Not individual cartridges, but 45 different colour cartridges. Various different brands. And again, maybe I've got a problem. So add them together, I've got 140 different inks. And just looking at them quickly now, yeah, I can't even say that some of my cartridges I have in bottles, because I don't. So I do have 140 different ink colours. That is a lot. I'm sure there are many of you out there, if you're watching this, that have loads more. So leave me a comment, let me know how many you've got. Beat me, top the 140. I'd love to know, and I'd love to, if you follow me on Instagram at Inkwell Pens, I'd love you to take a photograph of your ink collection and tag me into your photos. It would be fantastic. I'm going to take a picture of this before I dismantle all of this in a moment. And I'll put that picture up on Instagram. But it would be brilliant if we got that going, essentially what's your number as far as ink collection is concerned. That'd be brilliant. So anyway, I'm going to carry on. What I'm going to do today as well, I'm just going to just tell you about something that I do at the moment. As it stands, I have, the way I catalogue mine, I've just moved there because I've got my business card, my lovely little business card that arrived back, but it also has my phone number on there. I don't want the world to know my phone number at the moment, so I've just hidden my phone number. So that's why if it looks a bit weird as to why my finger is in the middle there, that's why. So this is what I do. I keep my ink swabs in here. I'm going to show you these in a second, because there is a purpose to this video other than me going, oh, wow, look at how many inks I've got. I get questions as to what are your favourite inks, what do you think of this ink, or what does this one look like? So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you the inks, my swabs of inks. And I do it like this. I catalogue all mine into colours, series of colours, and that's how I'm going to do this. It will be one very long video. However, I will, in the description box, write down the times at which the different colours begin if you don't want to watch all of it. If you, like, for example, if you're not interested in blacks and greys, then you don't have to watch the bit on blacks and greys. So I'll break it down in the description box below as to where each of the colour sections start. So you'll be able to have a look at that and be able to sort of look back on that. So I think that would be a really sort of handy sort of reference point. But just for example now, these are my blue blacks, or what claim to be blue blacks, or what I would brandish as blue blacks. And then I do little swabs like this, and I always write it, I actually just write it in black ink at the top because it takes an awful long time to ink a pen up with that. So at least I know what these inks look like. Every now and then I can imagine I'll probably have to update these because they'll start fading, but all of these are less than, I only did these probably about 6 months or so ago, so they haven't had a chance, and they are kept in here sort of pretty much airtight, so it sort of keeps fresh. So what I'm going to ask Karis to do now is I'm going to move this. Karis is behind the camera as always. I'm going to move this out of the way. Karis is going to flick that around so you can still hear my voice, hopefully not see me so well. And she's going to sort of zoom in. Let me move that out of the way as well. And you can have a look around. So I'm hoping this is my cartridge collection that I've got here. As I said, 45 different colour cartridges. Ranging from Pilot, Lamy, Parker. I've got a box of Aurora, I've got Kaweco, Sailor, Waterman, Pelican, Pilot, Platinum. I have Visconti and Diamine, and then these gorgeously cute little boxes that I think are the cutest thing in the world of J. Urban cartridges. I'll put that up there so people can see them. And then lastly but not least, I've got Monteverde cartridges there. This, I don't know if Karis can have a look here. This is my collection of ink samples. And I think, bar one of them, they have all been very kindly and courtesy of Pure Pens, you can see here on most of them. They do ink samples now, and they've all come from there, and that is an awful lot of ink samples, which is a great way of discerning actually whether you want to buy them, don't want to buy them, whether it turns out to be a good ink for you or not. You know, if you've only got a couple of mil of it and you're only paying a couple of pounds, or in some cases £1 for these, it doesn't matter. Noodler's inks, my bottles there, I've got 6-7 bottles of Noodler's ink. I've got 1670, J. Urban 1670, just 2 full bottles there. Can't wait to add I've got a sample bottle of the Caroube de Sheep. Can't wait to add the full bottle of that to there. 2 J. Urban bottles and 2 Private Reserve. My favourite ink bottle, the Carandache. My Pelican Edelsteins, I have 4 there. And then my Pelican 4001s. Brilliant inks, so if you've got quite a gusher of a pen, fairly dry inks that sort of slow an ink down. Platinum ink, lovely yellow there. My one and only Lamy. My one and only De Atramantis Cola, love it, smells of cola. Mont Blanc, I've got 3 bottles of Mont Blanc. I've got Midnight, I've got Black, I've got Grey. I've only got 2 Iroshizuku inks. I'd love to have more, but at £30 here in the UK, costs a lot, quite hurts a lot as well in the bank. But I have 2 on my wish list that I want to add. I want a full bottle of Yamabudo and I want a full bottle of Konpeki. This one is Momiji and this one is Siuro. And then Waterman. I have all the Watermans bar black. I hardly ever use black, so I literally have about 3 bottles of black ink. I just don't bother. 2 Parkers. You can see some of these are old. The old Waterman bottles, the newer Waterman bottles. Yeah, some of these go back some time, these Parker ones. And then, as you can see, I have a bit of a Diamine collection. So my 30ml bottles, a few of those, and particularly the series of deep dark inks that were made in collaboration with Cult Pens here, and then my full bottles at the back, and then my 1 full bottle of the Diamine Shimmering. That's the Shimmering Seas, and I actually want to add, I think it's Blue Pearl, no, Blue Lightning I want to add to it. So that's my collection. What I'm going to do now, I don't know if you can see me again, Karis is zooming back out. Are you zooming out? Mm-hmm. She's not speaking behind the camera there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop talking. Sorry it's been a very long introduction, but I think it was needed really, just to show everything that's here. And the way I'm going to do this, as I say, I'm going to go through this box and I'm going to do it colour by colour. So just to give you the running orders, you'll have an idea. I'm going to do blue blacks, then blues, then turquoises, and then teals, followed by green, browns, reds, grey and blacks, yellows and oranges, purples, and lastly pinks. So that's the running order in which I'm going to do this. I'm going to stop this video now and then start clear this down so you have the opportunity. I might just move some of them away and see if I can do it sort of from there. And I'm going to do it, just get them out so you can see the swab colours of them, so you can see what they look like. I hope you find this helpful. Please leave a comment. Remember to let me know how many inks you currently have in your collection, and if you can, please join Instagram or be on Instagram. Find me on Instagram at Inkwell Pens. Find me on Twitter as well at Inkwell Pens, and tag me in and let me know your number. And maybe we can hashtag my ink number. Say, should we hashtag my ink number, all in one word, and we'll see what we get. I hope to see you all again soon. Hope to speak to you on my other means as well, as far as social media is concerned. And I'm going to really enjoy doing this. Thank you all very much again. I'll see you in just 2 secs. Bye. So welcome back, and thanks for joining us on this sort of epic journey around the inks. So as I said, I'm starting with blue blacks. I'm just going to go through these. These are ink swabs that I've done just using a cotton bud or a Q-tip, I think. They're referred to in America, but we call them cotton buds. So I just literally dip that in ink and just rub it over a card here. And I think for me it gives me the truest representation of that ink. So these are ones that either they say are blue black, or that I would put them into a sort of blue black category. Some of the blue blacks are dark blues, and you'll see why in a minute. So this is Parker Quink's blue black. It's actually sort of quite tealy, I think. I'll go through them one by one and then I'll put them down and you'll be able to see them side by side. So this is Noodler's Navy. I would class that as a blue black ink. Diamine Midnight. This is the Cult Pens Deep Dark Blue. Pelikan 4001 Blue Black. Mont Blanc Midnight. Lamy Blue Black. I'll zoom out to be able to make sure you can see them all. Diamine Shimmering Seas. Waterman Blue Black. And then I have Iroshizuku Zuki-Yo. So let me just, can you just about see all of those? There we are. So this is the collection. So I've got what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 there that I class as blue blacks. You might not class them as blue blacks. You might think these are just blue. Some of these are blues. You would say that some of them are teals. Like for example, the Parker Blue Black and the Waterman Blue Black. For me, I'd put them very much in the teal category. But as manufacturers, they class them as being blue black. Actually, Waterman no longer class it as blue black. It's got a different name to it now, but this is what Waterman, when they did class their box as blue black, so this is what this one is here. And Parker Quink, this is what they call as blue black, but I would put them in teals. In the same way, the Noodler's Navy, because of the sort of proximity to these colours, I sort of see it as being a blue black in that sort of way. Then we've got what I suppose, we've got the Lamy here, the Lamy Blue Black, the Diamine Shimmering Seas, the Cult Pens, probably actually no, let's have a look. Lamy Blue Black, Pelikan Blue Black, very different aren't they to these, and these are what manufacturers call blue black. So this one, this one, this one and this one, all the manufacturers class as being their version of blue black. So if you were looking for a blue black ink, for me it would be something that is a darker blue, that is somewhere between blue and black. then I would be looking, for me, it would be, these would be the description on the box. However, the colour of these two inks I love, and particularly when I sort of think of Parker Blue Black, I used that ink when I was in school 20 or more years ago, and I loved it sort of then. And then there's these others I've put in this collection here of dark blues, or blue blacks that manufacturers class as. So there's that one. So let me just put this all back away, and we'll move on to the next one. So these are blues. Standard, what I class as standard blues. Blues that you could use whilst writing in work without any issue. It's a blue ink, I suppose. Maybe a couple of them are fairly light blue. So Diamine Sargasso Sea. There's a fair few of these, so I might have to sort of zoom out a little bit. Diamine Sapphire Blue. Sailor Souten or Souten. Diamine Bow Blue. So now this is a very, very pale blue. It's looking a little greenish on there. It's actually a very, very pale blue. Iroshizuku Konpeki. I love it. Absolutely love it. And that is coming out very true to what this card is. Pelican 4001 Royal Blue. A very pale blue ink. Yeah, very rarely use it. Parker Quink Blue, again, another ink I very rarely use. Very similar, as you can see here, to the 4001 Royal Blue. Waterman Florida Blue, I love that ink. Use it all the time. Now goes by another name, but I still have the bottle of Florida Blue. Noodler's Bay State. Now you hear an awful lot about this ink, and yeah, it's probably worth the reputation that it has. This is ink that if you get it on something, it takes a bit of bleach to get it off, but it jumps off the page at you. So what I tend to do is dedicate a pen to this, so that you can see it. And I dedicate a sort of fairly inexpensive pen to this ink because it can have a bit of an effect on it. Iroshizuku Asagao. Apologies for my pronunciations if they're all a bit rubbish. And then Diamine Shimmertastic Blue Pearl. So I'll put that one there as well. So what we have there is, if I'm right, 3, 6, 9, 11 blue inks, standard blue inks, other than the Bow Blue, which I didn't think was classed as, I couldn't put it under my turquoises because I didn't feel it was a turquoise. It was a blue. It's a baby blue. It does look turquoise on here. It isn't like that. It is a very baby blue. If you think of newborn baby buying a little outfit, it's that sort of blue. Needs a sort of particularly a broader nib or a wetter nib to get that sort of ink out and be able to see it, otherwise it just comes out very, very pale. So let me just put these away for you. And then we'll have a look at turquoises. So here we go. Shimmertastic Blue Lightning. Want to get a bottle of this. Caran d'Ache Hypnotic Turquoise. Géoban Bleu Pervenche. Pelican 4001 Turquoise. Noodler's Bad Blue Heron. Waterman Inspired Blue. Noodler's Midway Blue. Pelican Edelstein Topaz. And Diamine Acer Blue. So 9 turquoise inks here, and I have always got at least one pen inked with a bright blue, or what I class as a sort of turquoise type blue. These two are among my favourite inks. The Diamine Ace of Blue, one of the very first Diamine bottles I have had, and the first Diamine bottle I actually ran out of. Pelican Edelstein Topaz, I love that colour, I absolutely love that colour. Again, Waterman Inspired Blue, I love it, very well behaved. In fact, every single one of these are inks I sort of turn to fairly regularly. The Hypnotic Turquoise, I tend to have to find quite a wet pen for that. It's quite a dry ink. To get that sort of flowing quite well, it needs quite a wet pen. But the rest of them are sort of absolutely the same. Actually, no, the Pelican Turquoise as well, that's quite a dry ink as well. But the rest of them, all of these very, very, very well behaved inks that I absolutely love. They are among my favourite inks, these. And actually, I think I have 4 bottles of them all, actually, other than these two here, the Midway Blue and the Shimmertastic Blue Lightning, but they're both on my wish list to get 4 bottles of. So let's just put these away for you. And we'll get away, well, we're almost away from blues in a way, so we're coming midway now between that blue and green, where we're looking at teal inks. So, Pelican Edelstein Aquamarine. New ink, only recently just had it. I sort of feel a bit, that's probably the sort of, there's a better word than for me. Some people absolutely love it. It's not behaving for me at the moment. It's pretty much every pen I've used it in, it's feathering. Whether I'm using the wrong paper, I don't know. I'll have to try it a little bit more, but not hugely overwhelmed with that one. Diamine Steel Blue, Diamine O'Donnell, Iroshizuku Zero, one of only 2 Iroshizuku bottles that I own. Géobin Emerald of Chivois, I only have a sample bottle of this, and I think because it's a sample bottle I haven't really had the opportunity to get the shimmer off it, but you probably can just about get a bit of shimmer off that. Diamine Teal, and then Noodler's Blue Nose Bear. All inks that I class as in my teal collection. Could possibly be put in a turquoise, but I find it to be more on that sort of bluey side than the greeny side, but don't use these an awful lot. It's not a go-to colour for me, but I am waiting for a full bottle of the Emerald de Chivois to have a look at that in more detail, but they're there for you. If you want to see any of these in closer detail, then please just give me a shout and I can post some, you know, further pictures on Instagram or something like that for you. Right, so now we're moving on to colour. We've moved away from blues and blue mixed with black or blue greens or whatever, so now we're into sort of more specific and some more interesting colours, shall we say. So this is my green collection, and wow, have I got some greens. I like green ink, I really do like green ink, and this is a new one for me. It's a recent purchase and I love it. Look at that colour. This is Géobin Vert Olive, or love it. It is very much an olive colour. It's summery. It reminds me of going on holiday. I love that ink. I pair that very much with my TWSBI 580 AL in green. Works really well. Noodler's GI Green. Waterman's Green. Again, very well behaved, standard green ink. Diamine Shimmertastic Magical Forest. Diamine Soft Mint. Diamine Kelly Green. Diamine Green Black. And Cult Pen's Deep Dark Green, made in collaboration with Diamine. What you'll see here now, I suppose, this is where I haven't catalogued further down, but this is what I class as green, or a shade of green, but such a range between them, from the very sort of vibrant Vert Olive, the fantastic Kelly Green that starred among my sort of top 5 inks of 2015, It's such a bright, lovely colour, but still not too bright that you can't not write with it for ages. You can write really well with that. Soft mint, I love it. A fairly new purchase for me. Really enjoying that, and I really enjoy the waterman green. The others I don't use as much. I don't use the dark greens as much at all. And I haven't used much of this. I have actually did fill a pen with the Shimmertastic Magical Forest once, but I tend to use the Kelly Green, the Vert Olive, the Soft Mint and the Waterman Green more than the others. So put these back, and now we're moving on to browns. For those of you that watch my videos, I've mentioned before in my videos that whilst I absolutely love the idea of brown ink, for some reason or another I just cannot get on with it. And when I say I can't get on with it, it's not that I don't like it or that it behaves badly. I just look at my writing in brown and go, no, it's alright. But it doesn't jump out at me on a page. I sort of feel disappointed almost. So here we have, but I'll show you what I've got. Right, after saying that, how ridiculous is this that I'm going to go, right, so this is the exception to the rule. Because this is the brown ink that I've been looking for. I was extremely fortunate. Thank you very, very, very much to Ross at Pure Pens for sending me a sample of this when he was given his bottle to have a look at. And I've been chuffed to bits with it. So this is the Jeoban 1670 Caroube de Sheep. It's not out yet as far as a full bottle is concerned. I'm not sure if I spelt that right. I think there's probably an E on the end. And it's fantastic. There is a beautiful golden red fleck in it that you'll just about see on the edges here, but when you write with it and it dries out, you really do notice it. And it's a really nice sort of red brown, I would sort of class it as, and I love it. I absolutely do love that one, and I think it will become a brown that I use. It's inked in a pen now, and I am using it in work, so which is great. Diamine Raw Sienna, Diamine Saddle Brown, Waterman Havana, Noodler's Burma Road Brown, Cult Pen's Deep Dark Brown. Now, alright, I'll go through it. And Diatramantis Cola. Alright, again, have a look at this. Brown inks, all brown inks in one way or another, but a huge range of shades. From Noodler's Burma Road Brown that pretty much looks like an olive green, to Diatramantis Cola that pretty much looks red. I put the cola in with brown because for me, if I think of drinking cola or Pepsi or Coke or any other version of that cola sort of brand of beverage, I think of brown. I don't think of red. But the ink comes out as a lovely brown red. A lighter version than the Caroube de Sheep. And again, the Waterman Havana has a red tinge to it as well. These two are very much brown inks. The Raw Sienna lighter than any of the others. This are very much a dark, dark, deep dark brown. A earth sort of brown. And then this is pretty much, I would say, green. But they're my browns. Moving on to reds. So I have Waterman Audacious Red, Diamine Passion Red, Diamine Shimmertastic Red Luster, Diamine Shimmertastic Brandy Dazzle, Pelikan Edelstein Garnet, Jeoban 1670 Rouge Hematite, Noodler's Tiananmen, Noodler's Swan of English Roses, Noodler's Red Black, Cult Pen's Deep Dark Red, Diamine Syrah, and Noodler's Mandalay Maroon. Now, let's see if I can just come out far enough for you to see all those. There we are. 12 red inks. I didn't realise I had so many. And again, huge spectrum of colours of red, from The Shimmertastic Brandy that possibly I could have put in with the browns, and maybe I should. Maybe I'll move that and put it in with the browns. But the rest of them, all sort of reds of various colours, from sort of maroon colour reds to deep dark reds and sort of pinky reds, and then we're getting into really sort of proper reds. Watermelon Audacious Brown red is new to me and I love it. As far as red ink is concerned, I think it's a really good red ink. Rouge Hematite 1670, fantastic, lovely shimmer, brilliant colour. And then I really love the Noodler's Mandalay Maroon. That is on my wish list of my sample bottles to turn into full-size inks as well. But gives you an idea of the different colours that we've got here. So just put all of these back. Sorry for the noise. We are almost there. It's a super long video. Right, we're on to greys. Blacks and greys. Not colours I use very often. Only sort of, you know, if I have to really. Except for this oyster grey, which I've recently just had, and I do like it because it sort of makes it look as if I'm writing with a pencil, really. So Mont Blanc Oyster Grey, Diamine Shimmertastic Night Sky, Noodler's Black, Diamine Grey, Geoban 1670 Stormy Grey, Diamine Graphite. Let's move those up so we can fit these two here. Diamine Sparkling Shadow and Mont Blanc Mystery. Here about sort of 6 months, I would say. At best, some of these are, you know, very sort of fresh. My newest acquisitions of all of these is the Mont Blanc Oyster Grey, so that is very sort of true to what it is. As this might be 3-4 months, so the Noodler's Black that you'd expect to be very, very black is actually sort of, you know, coming off a bit grey. But the Mont Blanc Black, also if you have a look at that, it's got a bit of a purple tone to it as well, that black. But a lot of, I prefer greys to blacks. You know, I'd say I very, very rarely use them, but when I do, you know, I would pick up a grey over a black. Just 3 more ranges to see. So yellows, okay, very difficult colour to sort of use. I have a few of them, very rarely use them because they're difficult to sort of see, I suppose, in writing, but the yellows and oranges I've put all together. So I've got Private Reserve Buttercup. I was given this by Ian Williamson, who organises the pen shows here in the UK. It's very, very sunny, beautiful yellow. Diamine Golden Sands, this is more of a sort of goldy yellow. Platinum Sunny Yellow does what it says on this tin. It is a very sunny yellow. And then the 3 oranges that I have: Noodler's Summer Tanager, Diamine Pumpkin, and Cult Pen's Deep Dark Orange. Of all of these are the 2 I use more. I love the pumpkin, beautiful autumn colour, and also sort of goes through the summer as well. And the Cult Pen's Deep Dark Orange, again, I love that. And considering that TWSBI have just announced they're bringing back out the 580 in orange, I look forward to seeing one of these in that pen very soon over the next couple of weeks when that comes out. I have 2 on reserve already because Karis wants one as well. So purple. I like purple ink. I know there is a colleague of mine, Scribble, as well, that works with me on the United Inkdom. He likes purple ink as well. So this is my collection of purple ink. Pelikan 4001 Violet. I only had this last week, so this is as it is. Really like it. Noodler's North African Violet. Sailor Noir Samir. Iroshizuku Shikibu. Diamine Shimmertastic Purple Pizzazz. Waterman Violet. Move these up so I've got a bit more space. Diamine Bilberry. Diamine Imperial Purple. Pelikan Edelstein Amethyst. Diamine Grape. Cult Pen's Deep Dark Purple. And Noodler's Nightshade. 12 purple inks. So very much like the red ones, I like purple ink. I like writing with purple ink. Again, huge range of shades within that.
from, you know, what you sort of class as a lilac almost, and this is on my wish list for a full bottle. I really love this North African violet. I also love the Shikibu, but this is cheaper. But I do like that. It is a lilac colour, and the reason I want that is to go in my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful lilac pen that I've had from Twist Pens, made for me recently. I'm going to be doing a review of that, but it's a gorgeous swirl pattern that you can see through the middle of, that's just beautiful. Pelican and moving on then, I suppose, to the deepest of the dark ones here, the deep dark purple, and then the Noodler's Nightshade, which is, you know, somewhere between a purple and a black, I suppose. And then these, you could say, are possibly maroon, the amethyst, but amethyst is among my favourites as well. So let's put these away and we'll do the last one for you. And this is my pink ink collection. Again, I love to have a pink ink in a pen. It's really great for, you know, if I'm in work or I just want to highlight something to stand out in my diary. Pink really works, and I've got a pink pen as well, so it works in that. So this is Iroshizuku Yamabudo. I've put it among the pinks. Could be among the maroons, I suppose. Private Reserve Shell Pink. Pretty baby pink. Very, very difficult to write with because it doesn't show up on an awful lot. Noodler's Hellfire. Love it. This is what you call knock you out pink. Again, on my wish list for a full bottle. Iroshizuku Momiji. Can't believe how much we've used of that bottle. Noodler's Segura Wine. And Diamine Claret. I know, I suppose these, should I be putting them in pinks or should they be in purples? I like them in the pinks. They go well in pink pens, and that's sometimes what I sort of use it as. But again, a wide variety from a baby blue pink through up to sort of these here. Right, just one more thing to say, I suppose, while it's sort of this way. Won't be able to see me, but I'm just going to say it very quickly. I apologise, I haven't, well, I've just sort of, I suppose, realised by going through that I haven't really had the opportunity to do samples or page samples of all of the Waterman, sort of, not the Waterman, sorry, all of my cartridges. I'll get to that and have a look at that sort of as soon as I possibly can. So if we have a look, possibly. Yeah, because I've got all of these over here as my cartridges, and I haven't had the opportunity, sorry. And the difficulty with cartridges, some of them are in there as cartridges, because what you can't see here is also my collection of, I had some Mont Blanc cartridges, but I broke those cartridges up and used them as samples. I had 2 of each, so I've got 1 left. These ones here, I might start doing that, is breaking them up and doing sample swabs of those, and I'll do an extra video of those, my cartridge collection then. But that will have to be for another day, because it's going to, did take some time to break, you know, a cartridge up to use them to do swabs. So that'll probably be about another 40 inks to add to that collection. So thank you very, very much indeed for watching this. I hope you found it interesting. It has been an extremely long video and I am very sorry for that. However, I also said I will just break down where you can watch it. If you're listening to me now, then you've got to the end of it and your mammoth task is over. But leave me a comment. Remember my ink number, hashtag, over on Instagram or Twitter at InkwellPens. Like my video, please subscribe, and anything else you want to see from us, please let us know. Bye!